had to call this man and offer my personal congratulations to get to the Sweet 16 for the 15th time in his stupendous career, as the Michigan State Spartans are going to Madison Square Garden to take on Kansas State in the East Regional Final, the semifinal. The head coach of Michigan State basketball, the only basketball program from the Big Ten still left in this big dance, Tom Izzo, back in the program. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good, Rich. I was hoping to come out west so I'd get you and Booch. I'd make you come to the game, and maybe put on some gear or something.
Wait a minute.
That didn't happen.
Wait a minute. Mooch isn't coming in here. Mooch isn't hopping a flight to New York? What's going on there?
I don't know yet. I talked to him yesterday. I think he's making his decisions,
Decisions?
I heard you talking to your buddy there about having kids, Sometimes if you just have a wife, it makes it harder. Much less kids, You don't get to do whatever you want to do when you're married,
No, I understand. I understand. But Gail understands. Come on now.
Yeah, she's cool. She's awesome. Yeah,
of course.
Awesome.
She knows. You've known her for decades, too. I mean, and here's the thing. Yeah. Because I know there's all this talk with Tyson Walker being from Long Island, all this talk of New York pizza. That is the exact way to get Mooch on a plane, is to tell him.
Oh, I know he does. He loves pizza. So maybe I could have him in the back of the cab with me and Tyson. I'll be working on that. But I know one thing: Tyson's buying too. That's the deal we made last week. So I might have two pieces. Who knows?
I heard that. How you said afterwards he's going to dip into his NIL money to buy the pizza in New York. That one made me laugh out loud. Well, look, congratulations on advancing. Obviously, you know about surviving and advancing, and you know about what it takes to cut down nets. I'm wondering what it is about this team, Coach, that might feel different to you or remind you of a previous run. At all.
Yeah, it reminds me of some of them. I mean, we've been as I said, I've done it all. I've been a 1 seed and got beaten the first weekend, and I've been a 2 seed, I think, and got beaten the first weekend, and I've been a 7 seed and gone to a Final Four. So I'm not sure seeds matter like they used to, Rich. It's just there's just so much either parity or so many people trying to find themselves. And the one thing I've thought about our team all year, we had 2 major injuries early. The guys missed a lot of time, and then we got them back, and then they got, then they went out again. And so we've been a little bit up and down. We're not the most talented team I've had. It's kind of like the Denzel Valentine team of 15. Maybe we, who knows if we can make a run. We've already made a little run, and now, the way everybody's been getting beat, I don't know who's left. It's hard to believe. I'm sure your bracket's all screwed up, but even my bracket's all screwed up. So I don't know. It's been an interesting year in college basketball.
Well, I mean, the 1 seed in Purdue went out. You mentioned first game, my goodness. And Florida Atlantic beats Fairleigh Dickinson and faces Tennessee in the other regional semifinal that's there in Madison Square Garden. So I would say there's a clearer path to the basket, but as you pointed out, seeds don't really matter anymore.
No, there's a lot of good teams. I mean, we played Kansas State, and, we had played Kentucky earlier. I thought we'd end up playing Kentucky, and then Kansas State beat them. And then we played Tennessee in an exhibition game early in the year, and I think they got the clearest path to the Elite Eight. I mean, they have to beat Florida Atlantic, and that's not saying, but it's an 8 seed. So who knows? It's been such a topsy-turvy tournament that every time you think you can predict something, it's unpredictable. So hopefully we'll just keep doing our job and see where it takes us.
Well, I mean, you have 55 NCAA tournament wins now, Coach, and so you're a perfect guy to ask this. Is there more parity now? Is there more talent that's spread out all over the country that does lead to seeds not mattering anymore? Have you noticed that from your position on a bench all these years in the NCAA tournament, Tom?
Rich, I noticed a big change. I don't know if it's parity, the transfer rule. I don't know what it is. Guys, nobody wants to stay one place. We're getting to be a transactional organization now, and instead of the old I think your old buddy Bo would have trouble this day and age, and mine Judd. I don't think they'd like the movement. Hey, tell a kid he's got to go to class, and I'm leaving tomorrow. So I think we got some of that going on. I think we're in this period right after COVID, where everybody's trying to find themselves. But I think parity's good. But like in the NFL, I don't think everybody should be 9-7, or 10-6, and it's kind of happened in our league this year. Everybody was 11-7 or 11-8, and that's kind of hard to handle, at least right now. Maybe that becomes the new normal. I don't know, but I think it's a situation where there's a lot of moving parts right now in college football and basketball. Let's see where it lands.
Do you think there's a lot of Heathcote head knocking would happen if he was,
Yeah, like I said, your guy Bo and my guy Judd, I'm not sure they'd.
Different times.
I'm having trouble adjusting, but those two, I don't think they'd adjust very well.
Hey, did Heathcote ever come back after knocking his head so damn hard with his own fist, say, I actually hurt myself? Did he ever say anything? Did that ever happen?
That one time he had a watch on and he did it and he was bleeding, and I told him he was bleeding and he yelled at me. And then one time, remember when he threw the ball down and it came up and hit him in the head? I went to catch him, and he told me to get my blankety blank hands off me. He was awesome, man. Guys get worried about what people say to people now. I was fired so many times during that 12 years that I'm surprised I'm still here, to be honest.
Are you serious? He told you he told you those things, and then and what? You just came back to work the next day as if it didn't happen, or like did that?
Yeah. Now we transfer. We'd leave. We'd be insulted. We'd have mental illness or something. The things that go on now are so insane. But back then, it was part of building who you were and your character.
Right.
And you went through it. I'm sure everything didn't go perfect there when you started working. I'm sure you've had bosses that told you didn't do a good enough job.
Oh yeah.
Or people outside, and you fight through it. But this day and age, you kind of don't give up and quit, and that's annoying to me. But other than that, I'm just happy that I got a team that isn't like that. Maybe because they're not all superstars, but they've even when we were struggling, I kind of believed in this team, and I don't know why. I'm usually a glass half empty guy, but this year I had it half full, and at least some of it's been full.
Tom Izzo.
And, we'll see what we can do.
Tom Izzo here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last we spoke, it was in the first week of the dreadfulness that occurred on campus, the shooting in mid-February. And I'm wondering how much that's with you. The Spartan Strong T-shirts, I do see them, obviously. But how much is that with you and the team as you're in the locker room before a game, maybe during a game, after on this run? How ever present is it, Coach?
You know what? You try not to make it so big that it's because it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. And by the way, winning games, I say, is trying to be part of the healing process. But if it was my son or daughter that went through that, I don't think winning a game would help heal that. So I'm realistic on the whole thing. But do we bring it up? Do we talk about making it better for people that have gone through tough times and maybe bring a smile on their face or help the healing process like sports often does? I said it then, Rich, and I say it now. I went to Mooch's game at New Jersey when he was with the 49ers played the Giants, and it was the first game, Thursday night football. Did you do the game? I mean, back then I don't remember, but I went to the game, and that scene with the New York cops and policemen and all the people, I mean, it brought a positive thing to one of the worst catastrophes in the history of our country. And so I try to look at that and figure out how can I do that, and yet it's hard to give the Vince Lombardi speech and know that somebody lost their life. So it's been difficult, but it's been something that we keep close enough to us to say we're playing for more than ourselves, and yet we try not to make it an everyday thing because my guys didn't know any of the people except that they were students like themselves.
But they are also, yeah, that's right. I mean, we sometimes forget when we're sitting here, March Madness, all my brackets busted, all that stuff, is that the men and women that we see in these tournaments that are going on right now, they're part of a student body. Like that is their first and foremost existence, part of a student body, and they may not know any of the students who are killed or hospitalized, but I'd be stunned if they didn't know somebody who knew somebody on that front, or the fact that they're walking around campus hearing about it all the time, you know?
Yeah, we had one of our managers who was real good friends with one of the girls. So, I mean, yeah, there's no question that everybody does that. And everybody, it brings it closer to home to say, hey, this can happen to anybody, you know? And I think that's what we've tried to deal with and understand and move forward like you have to do. But I think never forgetting is important too, because whatever we do in our lives, I think we learn from what happened in the past, either to us or to somebody else. So it is important to understand it and not just pass it off. And so we're trying to find that happy medium.
Tom Izzo, a couple more minutes left with the Michigan State head coach before taking on Kansas State in Madison Square Garden. Do you have to give or do you want to give the kids a little history lesson on what the Garden is, or do they already know it? Obviously, Tyson Walker's from Westbury in Long Island. He would clearly know, but I'm wondering, is there any sort of significance about the arena that you're going into here?
Yeah, the one thing about, I'm the one that needed the history lesson. Where I'm from, Madison Square Garden, New York seemed like somewhere, I'll guarantee you Mariucci knows nothing about it either. We came from an area where
Iron
that's
Mountain.
too big a city for us to even understand. We thought that was another country back when we were growing up. But I think that the guys, the one thing, if you talk to any NBA player, and they talk, where would you rather play? And the Mecca is always one of them, is always the place. And so as a basketball player, I think, and then we had the advantage of, we did play against Rutgers in the Garden this year. We lost, but we played them. So the guys have been there. But as you know, when you walk through that place and the pictures that are hanging of all the performers, the Muhammad Ali's, so many things go on at Madison Square Garden. It's way bigger than just a basketball arena.
And then what is your first blush thoughts on Kansas State? By the way, they've got a kid from Harlem who's also having a homecoming, and Marquise Noel, who just went off on Kentucky. What's your 2 cents on Kansas State and their journey?
Well, I'm impressed that you're paying more attention to basketball now. You got these names down. You got where they're from. You got Tyson.
Yeah, I'm a professional.
You're impressing me,
Tom. I mean, come on.
You're a professional.
I come from good educational stock, as you know.
Yeah. I know the deal. I know where you're from, but I would say, Rich, that I heard they have 4 or 5 guys from the New York City area.
Okay.
I don't know that their roster has been really changed. They have a lot of transfers because of new coach and everything. And so, all I'm worried about is what they do on offense, what they do on defense, and what my guys do on a daily basis. And all the other stuff will take care of themselves. But, as cool as it is to play in Madison Square Garden, once the ball's tossed, you might as well be playing anywhere. It's I think kids just look at it as, a big game with a lot of importance and a chance to advance to an Elite Eight. And if that's not enough to get you going, I don't know if you need the Garden or New York or anywhere else, but if you're a basketball player, the chance to get to an Elite Eight is a special feeling.
Well, somebody who can also give a history lesson in that building would be Magic. He's always at your disposal, I'm sure, to talk to him.
He talked to our guys the day of the game. He called and put them on speaker, and wouldn't be surprised if Irvin flew out there, and maybe I'll have to tell Mooch to hop a ride.
That's right.
But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, on Air Irvin, that wouldn't be a bad spot. That wouldn't be a bad seat to have on that plane. But he called, which game did he speak to the team before? The last one or the first one?
The morning of our game, our last game against. You think I motivate my guys? I'm not good enough to do that, so I bring in people that are bigger.
He's a good one to do it. He's a great one to do it. Hey, Coach, appreciate the time. Have a great time in New York. Hope you get that pizza. So many great places for that. And I'm rooting for you. I'll just say it.
You know what, Rich? I appreciate it. It's great to be on your show.
Thanks.
You do a great job, and have some fun, all right?
You too. Thanks again, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Rich.
That's Tom Izzo once again here on The Rich Eisen Show. There you have it. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.